Well, good morning, America. It's Saturday, getting ready to leave, head out on the road. It's hot and sweaty. So let me get this over with real quick and get on the road. I'm heading over to Charlotte, North Carolina. I picked up yesterday. I got the truck out of the shop. Had the clutch problem and everything. Had the clutch fixed, along with a myriad of other things. Had an overhead done. Had new shocks put on the front. Had a problem with the steering box. I've been noticing over the last month or two, steering's kind of sloppy. You know, you turn and just kind of wanders. Couldn't figure out what was going on. Last time I was in the shop, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I guess, had the U-joints on the steering column. There's little bitty U-joints. Had those replaced, thinking maybe they're getting a little sloppy. And that didn't seem to work. Trying to figure, well, maybe it's tie rods or something like that, you know. Yeah, they all look pretty good though. So where's this sloppiness coming from? We get it in the shop and got to looking at it, and I was explaining to the mechanic, I said, you know, something's sloppy here and everything. We had the hood open. I said, like when you turn the steering wheel, look down there. I mean, is there any slop or something like that? In the steering box, the whole thing was moving. There's 3 big bolts. I mean, 1 inch round, big bolts that hold this huge steering box on. And this steering box, the bolts had loosened up over the years, and it was sitting there flopping around. So when I'd turn, the steering box would actually move before it actually started. It was a bad thing. So let's tighten them bolts up. So we got the bolts tightened up, got overhead run, got stock shocks. We had underneath the exhaust, what they call a flex pipe. Drivers, you guys know what that is. But when the exhaust comes out of the turbo and goes down underneath the truck, there's a little muffler under there. And then it comes to a Y pipe, and that Y splits and goes up each stack. So I got, you know, 2 exhaust stacks. So anyway, the Y pipe, once it goes through the Y pipe, there's a little bit of flex tube. It's like, think of it as the dryer vent on your clothes dryer at home. That dryer vent, that's made out of spring wire and plastic. We'll make that all out of metal, okay? And it's flexible. That way when the truck's shaking around, it can flex and it won't break the exhaust leak or exhaust seal. So anyway, those get old over time. They start rusting and get bad and they start leaking. So we replaced one of those. And anyway, I wanted to show you the clutch. Here's the clutch and here's the problem with it. Okay, we get you up real nice and close on this. These are springs, okay? That's the one that broke right there. Did you notice, see the springs, how they're tight in here? Okay? But that one's loose. See how it's all worn right in this area? Yeah, I'm getting that. So anyway, see how it's worn right here? That spring had broke and then was flopping around in here, and that spring was dragging on the plate on the front. Okay, here the engine's toward you, and then here's the flywheel. Here's one of the clutch pads, plates. There's another one. There's like 3 clutch plates. Okay, and then there's a pressure plate on the back of that. And then on the outside of that pressure plate is a throwout bearing. So anyway, without getting too detailed and technical, this spring is what broke, and that's common in clutches. So also see these pads? They still got a little bit of wear on them. They're not completely worn out. I want to make a point of that because the guy I bought this truck from, his name's Sammy, and he was the second owner. I'm the third owner. The first owner had it for 4 years. It was a brand new truck. It was an older couple, and they ran team aviation engines, airplane engines. And they ran that truck for 4 years, probably put 100,000 miles per year on it. So about 400,000 miles. And when Sammy bought it, he ran it for 5 years, and now I've had it for almost 2. It's an 11-year-old truck. And I said, Sammy, I've had this for 2 years, and how long ago before I bought it, how long before the clutch was changed? He goes, I don't think I ever changed the clutch. You've never changed the clutch on this truck? He goes, no, I don't think I ever put one in. Okay, so that makes sense that the original owner at 400,000 miles probably didn't put a clutch in, okay? And if Sammy didn't put one in, this is a 1.5 million mile clutch. That just blows my mind. 1.5 million miles on this clutch. He's never had the engine work done or the engine overhauled. The transmission's never been worked on. The clutch has never been worked on. That's astounding in trucking. So anyway, right there, 1.5 million mile clutch, and the only thing that caused it to go out was that spring finally broke. What that spring does, here's your center shaft. Let me get down here. This center shaft right here, that's where the drive shaft, the crank inside the engine, okay, it comes out and there's splines on here and it goes through that, okay, and that turns all this stuff, okay. Actually, it goes to the flywheel. This spline is coming from the transmission side, okay. Now, when you push the clutch in, here's the flywheel, and you push the clutch in and it pulls the clutch away, okay, and it separates those three. I think there's about 3 clutch. These discs, there's about 3 of them in there. There's the frontal, the intermediate, and the rear, or something like that. They got names for them, and I don't know what that is. But let me get a better angle here. So when you push the clutch in, on the backside there's a bearing, and there's this fork. It's basically a fork. It comes out and it levers over here. When you push the clutch in, it pushes it out, okay? And it pulls that clutch away from the flywheel, therefore separating the engine from the transmission. It's clutch. So when you let the clutch back out, this all compresses and pushes everything back tight together with real strong springs, and down the road you go. And then you shift your gears as you need. You double clutch, or you float gears, or if you want to, you can speed shift. I don't recommend speed shifting. I do recommend float shifting though. So if you know how to float shift, it's a great way. Float shifting, I asked Sammy, how did he drive this truck? And he said, I floated gears. And I'm sure the old timer that had the truck before, he's retired now, this was his last truck. I'm sure he floated gears too. So with all that said, this truck didn't use the clutch very much. That's why it lasted 1.5 million miles. 1.5 million. 1.5 million, I get it right here. All right, what happens here is these pads engage, and if you everybody's done this in their car, their pickup, in their semi. Everybody's done it. They throw it in neutral. They think it's in neutral. They let the clutch out and then get out of the truck, and it's still in gear. And you let the clutch out, boom, and it jumps forward about 2 feet and kills the engine. What these springs are for is on a hard clutch dump, okay, accidental or whatever. If you let the clutch out too fast, you're a rookie driver and you let it out too fast, you're in a hurry, you're impatient, something happens, and or you forget, like I said, you leave it in gear and you let the clutch out thinking it's in neutral. This is the shock absorber inside the clutch. These pads, they want to turn, and these springs will compress, and you'll get this effect, okay? And then they'll say they're lined up right here, boom, and then they line back up. It's that clutch, that springiness in it, okay? Keeps things from breaking. So eventually they wear out though. That's a very common thing on clutches. So usually the springs break before the pads wear out. So anyway, I just wanted to show that to you. What else did we do? Got the truck worked on, been home all weekend, did the video with the kids. That was a fun thing with the chicken tenders. What else? Oh, I stained the van. All right, let's go over and look at that. All right, we are in the van, and you notice anything different? We did a little bit of staining this week. I put some more of the wood in. I still got one more piece to put here. I got a couple more pieces to put here, and then I need to stain. I ran out of stain, so I've already got it. It's right below you right there in a can. I got to stain this, all this front here, whatever I put here, and whatever board I put. Well, this will be oak here, just like this one here. We got the air conditioning in back here. There's a rear air conditioner, and I got that. I'm going to do a complete rundown of this van once it's completely done, and make a whole video out of that. So, but just basically what I've done this week. Finished up some wood trim. Finish this up. No, still got to do that one. But I finished this one over here. Put this wood up. Just finished up the woodwork. Put all this wood trim around the refrigerator. Did all that kind of stuff. And then stained it. And I used, I can't remember the brand name, but anyway, used golden oak was the color. So the kind of woods we have in here, of course, this is those countertops from Home Depot's Husky line of tool cabinets. This is the wood that you can lay in the top as a workbench on your, here's your tool cabinet, you know. So that's what these are. But all the rest of the wood, this wood along the back, this wall, this wall, this wall, and down below, that's cabinet quality plywood. I don't know what kind of wood they use for that. I'm not quite sure what it is. Might be oak, I don't know. But it's just a higher quality plywood. It's not the best plywood, but it's higher than just regular plywood. And it stains up pretty decent. Everything else, this is cedar planking. So cedar planking on the walls, on the ceiling, on the walls, up here. This piece, up in there. Where else? There's some more somewhere. Oh, the end caps right here, here, and I still got to do this one here. So all that cedar, and then all the rest of it, all the trim, the face work, that's all red oak, red oak, red oak, red oak, okay? And it's all stained in, everything is stained in golden oak, colored stain. So the van is functional, ready to go. It's not completely done. Like I said, little pieces like this is all small detail stuff that I'll take my time on. I wanted to get it functional. Solar's up, water's up, check this out. Look at water. So you just turn the switch on, turns the pump on, water comes up here, it's just cold water, and then drains out right onto the ground. So there we go on that. Electrical, solar's working, refrigerator's working, everything's functional, ready to go. All I gotta do is move my clothes in and head north. So that's what we're gonna do in July. We're gonna leave, I'm gonna go out for a couple more weeks and be back at the end of June. I'll get in this van and I'll head north to Kansas to wheat harvest up there at my friend Kirk's house. We'll go up there and do wheat harvest for about a week and a half, usually 9 to 10 days. And then after that, I'm going to leave from Kansas and head straight north up to Alaska. That's the plan anyway. So, but for now, I got to get in the truck and head to Charlotte. So I'm going to get out of this heat. I'm wringing wet. So I got to get clean or get dried off, cooled off, and get to rolling. So now that you're caught up, ciao. I'll see y'all later. And next video will be out on the road. So bye.